And over in Durham, the Nashville Sounds fell 7-3 in their series opener taking on the Bulls. They'll be back in action at 5:50 p.m. over on 94.9 The Fan. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter at 1025 The Game or visit thegamenashville.com. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
79-52 Vanderbilt.
I think he's going to coach
Shot by Cheryl.
You're going to see more moves.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Nashville.
The suit is in the building.
Acknowledge me.
Are you ready? Ready? This is Chase McCabe on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on a Wednesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Nick Frazier on the ones and twos behind the glass. And the Titans' 53-man roster for now, keyword for now, is set. We'll go through that, kind of give you some updates as they come out, because obviously there's going to be movement around the league. You know, other players got cut, so you will have Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel that will be looking at their roster, looking at free agents, see who they can add, all those things. So it's certainly the roster that is out now is not going to be the one that is the final roster when they kick off in a week and a half against the New Orleans Saints. But we have a great show planned. They did acquire Nick Folk yesterday as the kicking carousel continues. Brett Kern, former Titans punter, going to join us at 9:30. Get his thoughts on working with the kicker. Obviously, he spent many, many years here where he had stability at the kicking position. He was stable at the punting position. So we'll kind of get his thoughts there. Rick Stockstill, MTSU head football coach, going to join us at 10:30, and he will be doing that every Wednesday at 10:30 during the football season as their games will be on 93.3 Classic Hits this year, and they will kick off their season coming up Saturday in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Big Joe Dubin going to join us for the 10 o'clock hour as well, as he's the color analyst for MTSU. We'll talk some Titans, college football, all those things with him. But we start with the 53-man roster, and I gave mine yesterday. And what's funny is, like, when I did it, and then you look at Tehran's, and you look at Zach Lyons, and you just all that are out there, Rex Rhodes, they're all very similar. And then the Titans gave us some surprises. I think if you look at, and Jim Wyatt kind of did the breakdown on TennesseeTitans.com, that, when I went through once it was out, I was like, okay, well, I missed a few. I mean, I had 6 receivers. They go 7 with Colton Dowell making the roster. I did not have Colton Dowell on my 53. Now, I think that a part of that is Kyle Phillips, they might put him on IR, which now that he's made the 53, they can do that, and then they can reactivate him once he's ready to go. So, that's a move that could potentially be made. So I didn't have Colton Dowell. I had 4 tight ends, and the one I don't have to worry about saying his name right now. So there you go. So they ended up with Chig, Wesco, and Josh Wiley. Odukoya, thank you. Making once somebody says it, it's fine. But it's crazy with me. Like, there's certain names that people just can't say that it's easy for me. Like Igor Afanasiev, I've always been able to say that one fine. But when I read Odukoya, reading it, I can't. I mess myself up.
It takes a second. It's okay. I mean, it happened to me. Behind the glass, I was like, Odukoya. There we go.
Yeah. So I had him. He does not make it because they go 3 tight ends. Now, and Paul Kaharski pointed this out this morning. There's a 53-man roster, but really there's a 69-man roster because they have the practice squad that they can call guys up from. So, whoever the other tight end is that makes the roster, the nice roster, whoever makes that, they can call them up on game day as a part of the activation. So, that they could probably have more than the 3 tight ends. They offensive linemen, and Jimmy breaks it down by actual position on the O-line. So technically 3 centers with Brewer and Levin. I had them. He has Xavier Newman. I did not have Xavier Newman on my 53. And then guards, Brunskill, Radens, which was kind of the surprise as he's off the PUP list, and Skoronski. No surprises there. Tackles, Andre Dillard, Chris Hubbard, Justin Murray, Jalen Duncan. I did have all those guys making it. So with the offensive line, so that's 10. I had 9. So Newman was the extra offensive lineman that the Titans ended up having. Defensive line, Simmons, Autry, Tart, Naquan Jones does make it, and Jaden Peavy. I had Dwumfor and Pecco. They do not make the initial. The linebacking group, which is all put together, Aziz Al-Shair, Harold Landry, Rashad Weaver, Arden Key, Jack Gibbons. I did have Gibbons making it. Murphy made it. Gifford made it. Monty Rice made it, which was a bit of a surprise. And Otis Reese made it, which was a bit of a surprise. I did not have Otis Reese. Chance Campbell and Neiman did not make it on the initial 53. And then corners, I think I was good there, except for Anthony Kendall. I had Guerrer over Kendall, and they ended up taking Kendall. And then the safeties, Byard, Hooker, Molden, Mike Brown, Matthew Jackson was the surprise. So that's the initial 53. Obviously, it's going to change, and we'll see kind of with some of these guys that were at the tail end of it, like Anthony Kendall or Matthew Jackson. Do they ultimately stick? We'll find out, depending on the other roster moves that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel decide to make. But when you look at that roster, and this is basically what they're rolling with. And let's be honest, the starters, that's what they're rolling with. I don't anticipate too much changing there, except for, they might have a rotation at right tackle if things with Chris Hubbard aren't working out before Petit Frere gets back. Does this feel like a playoff team going into the season? And I would say my best answer to that is I have no idea. If certain things happen, if DeAndre Hopkins and Treylon Burks and Burks' practice stay healthy and can be productive, if Derrick Henry is, a 80% Derrick Henry than he has been in the past, and Ryan Tannehill can stay upright because the offensive line is adequate, I would say yeah. And if that defense can live up to the hype, I would say yeah, they can be. Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN NFL analyst, was on Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace yesterday and gave his thoughts on that exact question.
Do you think they could make the playoffs in the AFC where there's so many teams that look like they've got something to bring to the table?
I mean, I think they can. And I think one of the things, to come to your point on prediction and things like that, I find myself, and I try to fight it every year, where I'm like, I really favor teams that are good on offense. Like, to give you an example in the other conference, I look at the Lions, and I like so much about them. I think Jared Goff is way better than people realize. I like their offense coordinator. I think their running backs are really talented. The receivers, they got one of the best young receiving groups in the world. They were horrible on defense last year. And so, look, I talk about the Lions as a team hey, don't sleep on the Lions. And so I fall into that trap a little bit. And so when I look at the Titans, how they make it happen is if they're awesome on defense. That, to me, that is where they can be way better than someone like me thinks that they are going to be. Or when I compare them to a team like the Jacksonville Jaguars, where I'm wrong. Where I'm wrong is if, you know what, they're just a much better defensive team than Jacksonville. And so because I do feel like they're better on offense than the Titans. So that, to me, is how it happens. And And look, I think that I've probably misjudged them defensively at times in the past. I think they're well coached on that side of the ball.
That was Tim Hasselbeck yesterday on Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace, and I agree with him that the defense is certainly going to have to carry the water. They are certainly going to have to carry the water for this team. I do want to address a text that just came through, and you're welcome to text in or call anytime, 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. A texter says, Titans need Jalen Reagor and to boot Dowell. I could not disagree with you anymore. I mean, I know Colton Dowell's a 7th-round pick, and he is unproven. He hasn't played a meaningful snap in the National Football League. Jalen Reagor is a bust of a pick, of a first-round pick, and has been awful in his 3 years in the National Football League. I mean, he hasn't even broken 400 yards receiving. No thank you. Not a chance. He got cut by the Vikings. I know he's 24 years old, and he was a high prospect. He was 21st. He was 21st overall to the Eagles in the 2020 draft. I mean, to me, he is one of those just bad 2020 draft picks that people thought more of because they had to do it from afar and couldn't scout and all those things. He has been awful in the NFL. I would not even think about bringing him in. I respect your opinion. He's a name. He's a veteran of 3 years. He played 17 games last year. He didn't start a game. He had 104 receiving yards for Minnesota. 1 touchdown. That does nothing. I would rather see what the unproven kid can do over what the sample size that I have with Jalen Reagor. So I would not go that route. But that's me. That's my opinion. 615-737-1025. Coming up next, they do address kicker. What do we think about Nick Folk as the kicker for the Tennessee Titans? Again, Brett Kern going to join us at the bottom of the hour, get his thoughts on that. But we'll discuss it next here on the Chase McCabe Show on 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
Are you always on the go? We've got you covered. Download the Game Nashville app from your app store and listen to us wherever you are.
Robbie Stanley, Joe Rexroad.
It's Chase McCabe.
Caroline, Willie, D-Mace.
Dominic Cavity.
We are Nashville's best sports talk.
Good station. I listen to it all the time.
102.5 and 106.3, The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hello, everybody. It's Nick Frazier. I just want to tell you about my favorite sportbooking casino, BetUS.com. Football is back, and that means it's time to lay down your bets. I only endorse one sportbooking casino, and that's BetUS.com. They're celebrating their 30th year of sports betting service with a special offer up to 30 risk-free bets. That's right, up to 30 risk-free bets. It's called Bet Protect. BetUS.com also offers a 125% sign-up bonus, a massive 200% crypto sign-up bonus, and a 250% casino bonus. The game always gets more exciting with the bet, but you can take it to a whole nother level at BetUS.com's live in-game betting. Take advantage of their 30th year offer, up to 30 risk-free bets. Get Bet Protect. Get started today by visiting BetUS.com or at 1-800-MyBetUS to learn more. That's 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS.com, sportbooking casino, where the game begins.
Attention all fire and safety line experts. Middle Tennessee's fastest growing fire protection company is looking for experienced service technicians, designers, and sprinkler system experts like you. Tired of working for a large corporate employer? Work for a company where you're more than just a number. Jarrett Fire Protection is owned and operated by Nashville natives and wants to invite you to grow with their amazing team.
Hi, I'm Jason Jarrett, owner of Jarrett Companies. I'm looking to hire experienced sprinkler experts and will offer a sign-on bonus of up to $5,000 for certified professionals. In addition to our great benefits that include a 401k match, PTO, and top pay with annual bonuses, we will also provide you with the top-of-the-line tools, trucks, and equipment that you need to grow your career. Our customer base is large and business is booming with many opportunities for advancement. Give us a call or go online to jarrettfire.com and apply today to become a member of our family and protect our community. That's JARRETT fire.com. Jarrett Companies, where we are above and beyond industry standards.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2023 Bank of America N.A.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Every day we are live and local.
You need to give Ron Tannehill a 2-year extension.
There haven't been too many coaching changes for the Predators. And your source for Nashville sports.
I think that's what the Titans need.
Players who can score. We are Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. Chase McCabe is on.
I am not that guy you think I was.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Tim, why are the Patriots looking to move on from Nick Folk if he's so good? Why did they feel the need to draft a kicker?
Yeah, here's what I think happens. I actually believe that there are more than 32 good kickers on the planet. And everybody thinks it's something else. Like that's why I keep going back to Nick Folk's kicked a long time, right?
Yes.
And he's been a very good kicker for a long time. Is he perfect? No, none of these guys are. I don't care who it is. So I think there are so many factors that go into it that that no one ever really knows about. Was the operation slow? Was the snap not good? Was the hold not good? All of those different things. And so here's where I would say, and I think Randy Bullock fits the mold here, and I think that Folk fits the mold here. He's proved that he can kick in the NFL.
Right.
I think that's what you don't want to do is ever enter in when you're like, you know what, I don't know how this guy's going to handle this moment. And we've seen that happen to guys.
That was Tim Hasselbeck, ESPN analyst, NFL analyst, college football analyst, joining us, or joining Caroline, Willie, and D-Mace, I should say, yesterday. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Brett Kern at the bottom of the hour. And a lot of you weighing in on the kicking situation. So Nick Folk is the kicker. At least to start the season, but they traded a 7th-round pick to get him. And texter on the text line, Casey, says, I feel like they should have just waited to get Folk because he would have been cut yesterday. Your thoughts? I'm not sure why they wouldn't have given Crosby a shot and saved the draft pick. I see no difference in the two kickers' ability. I feel they are similar in skills and in their careers. Crosby was here all along, Mason Crosby. So it's a head-scratcher for me. Not a huge deal, but it seemed like an easy decision. They didn't even bring him in for a tryout. A couple of things at play here. I think they gave up the pick to go ahead and make the trade because they liked Folk, and with what was available, that guaranteed that they were going to get him at the salary that he was at. I think he's making like $2 million a year. I think Mason Crosby costs you a little bit more. And while I understand he lives here, he's been kicking at Brentwood, I wouldn't have hated the pick, or not the pick, but the signing if they had brought in Mason Crosby. I think he's solid. I think they look at this as they're still getting, decent skill with Nick Folk at a slightly cheaper price. And I'll also make the counter argument to that's kind of how they've been playing this the last few years, and that's why they're on this carousel. But, overall, Nick Folk has been in the league for a long time, just like Mason Crosby. 2007 was his rookie year. I remember he won a game for the Dallas Cowboys on Monday Night Football. Jared and I were talking about this yesterday, where Folk was the kicker, had won the battle, I think from Mike Vanderjagt, if I'm not mistaken, and had won the battle, and they were playing the Buffalo Bills on a Monday night. They get this fluky onside kick at the end of the game to get the ball back, and Romo was this was early in Romo's tenure, leads them down to a spot, and Folk hits a kick to win the game, and it was unbelievable. But last year in New England, I mean, he was, 9 for 9 from 20 to 29, 8 for 8 inside of 40, and then 10 of 14, 40 to 49, 4 of 5, 50 plus, 86.5% kicking percentage. I mean, I'll take that. Like, that's solid. I'll take that. So, I think that's ultimately kind of why they went in that direction. And then another texter says the defense was average last year and did nothing to get better. What makes anyone think this defensive unit will be good enough to carry a team? This is a 3-win team at best. They're definitely more than a 3-win team. And the other thing is they had injuries. I mean, they were just devastated with injuries. Jeffrey Simmons played half the season hurt. So I don't think those stats really tell you the whole story with the Titans defense. It's a wait and see. I'm worried about the depth, if they do have to battle injuries again, what that looks like, but I'm not ready to say 3-win team. They're better than that. I mean, I think they're on the fringe of being a playoff team if I had to think right now. But so Nick Folk is the answer at kicker for now. And I hope it's the answer for the season. I still, and I can't wait to get Brett's thoughts on this because, even though he was the punter, I mean, it was a battery. I mean, that he was the holder. And so different kickers like things different ways. And you're going through this carousel, you obviously have to adjust as the holder and being part of the battery there that, okay, laces in, laces out, had certain way. And so he'll give some insight on that. But I think they could have done worse. I mean, I honestly, what they had in camp and Badgley was worse, and they have upgraded. I don't think there's any way to really look at it other than that. He's probably going to miss some, but ultimately, like if I'm having to put money on, either Shudak or Badgley or Folk making a kick, I'm taking Nick Folk. That's kind of my view on it. Nick, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Nick Folk. The thing that concerns me about Folk is that, yes, he's been in the league for so long. I just want to know how much strength does he have in that leg still. That's my biggest concern. Because the Titans have that big issue of, 50-plus should be a regular shot in the NFL. Well, with Nick Folk, 50-plus might be a 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, again, the same situation the Titans have been in the last couple of seasons. We do not have a kicker that can go 50-plus right now. Yeah. Now, if that includes Nick Folk, then yes, maybe Nick Folk is the answer for the short term of 2 to 3 seasons. But as for right now, no, I would not say so.
And I'm wondering, how much of that is Ackerman and how much of that is just the old school mentality of Vrabel of, I don't want to kick 50-plus because I want to trust my guys to get beyond that. I don't know. I just can't understand that. Brian on our text line makes a really good point, too, that I haven't mentioned yet. With Nick, he goes, but with Nick Folk, now you have to go get a guy who can do kickoffs if you want to be able to get touchbacks. I don't think they're going to bring in a kickoff specialist, and I don't – and again, we'll ask Brett about this. I don't think they're going to try and have Stonehouse do kickoffs either. I mean, I think they're going to – but he's right. Nick Folk is a guy that, I mean, it lands at about the 5 or the 6 and does not go into the end zone. And so that is, with special teams kind of the way they've been, this is where, I mean, Craig Ackerman, if his job is not on the line, I don't know what we're doing. I mean, I know Vrabel has defended him. He and Jared kind of got into it at the press conference early in the year when he decided to keep Craig Ackerman. I don't know Craig Ackerman personally, but, I mean, I've seen some things too, and I'm not the go fire this guy, fire that guy type of host, but if the coverage is not good because you got a guy that can't put it in the end zone and you're getting big kickoff returns, that's a problem, and that's on the special teams coach.
Absolutely. And Mike Vrabel mentioned the other day about Caleb Murphy and if he had a spot on this roster. Well, those type of guys are going to have specific roles on special teams for this purpose being. Now with the Titans, yes, Nick Folk is going to be landing it around the 5-6 yard line like you're alluding to. the Titans are going to have guys that are going to be gunners going left and right down the field that will end up wrapping up tackles. And that's going to have to be a huge emphasis going in from the preseason now into the regular season of week 1 going into the Saints.
Jared's asking me whose side am I on with the Ackerman argument. I'm pretty much on Jared's side. Like, I kind of feel like they should have made a change. There you go, Jared. I'm giving you a definitive answer. I think they should have made a change with Craig Ackerman. But they didn't. And so now, like, to me, this is more than put up or shut up time. Because a lot of the guys that made this roster that that could be viewed as surprises, to me, are guys that Vrabel had pointed out were good on special teams. And so if that is true, then there should be nothing to worry about. But I think there's probably something to worry about. That's it. We were going to talk about the O-line, but we got going on kicker. I mean, kicker is going to continue to be a hot subject until they show you that it's not. And they have to, I mean, if he hits one from 53 to win it, that'll shut people up for a little bit, but there has to be consistency. So we will see. We'll ask Brett Kern. We'll get his thoughts on this whole situation. He's retired now. He doesn't have to worry about it anymore. He'll join the show next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Want to tell you about the college football game of the week. It's finally back here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. And this Saturday at 11 o'clock on these airwaves, thanks to our friends at the University of Virginia, you can hear Tennessee taking on Virginia, presented by Twin Peaks. Take your tailgate to Twin Peaks for scenic views of all the hottest non-conference games across the country. Check that out this Saturday at 11 on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Sometimes it's good to be loud.
This is the NFL.
Especially when you're Jared Stillman.
That's where we are.
He's not afraid to say what's on his mind each and every day.
That was embarrassing. I don't care if you're a rookie. That was embarrassing.
Stillman and Company. Weekdays at 2 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, Superbook Sports is the go-to as football season is here. We got college games this weekend. There's some tomorrow. I cannot wait for it. And now is your time to get in with Superbook Sports. It's the most trusted name in Vegas, and you can use my promo code CHASE to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they'll match your first bet up to $250 simply by using the promo code CHASE. That's my name, CHASE. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who is your pick for MVP, and which team will win it all in February? Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Just download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Football, a $250 first bet bonus, and the Chase promo code. It'll make you do your own touchdown dance this season with Superbook Sports. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Real estate investors, get ready for an incredible opportunity. D&M Development is thrilled to announce the Phase 1 presale of 16 non-owner-occupied short-term rentals in Nashville's exclusive resort-style community, the New Cumberland. Nestled between Germantown and East Nashville, this exceptional location offers stunning views of the city and the Cumberland River. Each unit features spacious kitchens, 4 bedrooms, and 4 baths, providing the ultimate luxury experience for your guests. Resort-style pools and a wide range of amenities. Don't miss out on this exclusive investment chance. Visit thenewcumberland.com for more information and secure your spot in this extraordinary community.
Golf fans, the Simmons Bank Open hits town September 14th through the 17th and is now part of the Korn Ferry Tour Finals. 102.5 and 106.3. The Game wants to send you and 3 friends in VIP style. Text the keyword golf to 615-737-1025 to win.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Sports and Social in Green Hills is bringing you the ultimate fan experience this football season with a 33-foot media wall, 22 TVs, mouth-watering game day eats, and cold beer. Sports and Social opening September 7th at the mall at Green Hills.
Hey, do you need to listen on the go? Download the Game Nashville app from your app store today, and you can listen to us anywhere in the world. It's that simple. What an age we live in.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, broadcasting live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. Hope you're having an awesome start to your Wednesday. We've been talking a lot about kickers. Let's bring in a punter. Brett Kern is on the line with us. Former Titans punter, longtime Titans punter. Brett, what's up? How are you, man?
What's going on? You think people are going to change the dial that we're still going to be talking about kickers after this segment?
No, I mean, dude, people want to talk about kickers because, I mean, you've kind of
right in my alley.
I know, and yep. You've lived this, for the last few years with the Titans because, I mean, for so long it was, they got here and it was Del Greco and then it was Joe Nedney and then you get to Baronis and then Suckup. I mean, you had stability at the kicking and the punting position with Craig Hendrick and then yourself, and then they haven't quite been able to figure it out the last few years. So before we get into some of that, I don't know how well you know Nick Folk, but he's been in the league longer. I mean, I guess longer than you. 07 is when he started with the Dallas Cowboys. So what do you know about him and what he can bring to the Titans?
Yeah, Nick was he was a year before me. I remember because preseason when I was in Denver my rookie year, we practiced against the Cowboys, and he was there in his second year. And I mean, Nick's a great guy. I mean, he's in the league, this long for a reason. Obviously, he's proven himself over the years, and accuracy wise, and especially too, what's been impressive is probably the last 3 years, ever since Steven, Gostkowski left New England, they've obviously needed somebody, and he's gone up there and done a great job. Anytime you're going over 90% in New England in that stadium, which is not a very friendly stadium to kick in for kickers or punters, when you're going 92%, the last 2 years and 86.5 last year, that's pretty impressive. So I think it'll be good too to get a veteran in there. When you bring somebody in like a veteran, a lot of guys, respect that. Anytime you play in the league a long time, there's a reason why. And so guys respect that, kind of no matter what position you play. So he'll be good. He'll be good for Stoney too. And obviously to have Morgan, who I think is, the best snapper in the league and for sure the most accurate, it should be a good combination for him.
Yeah, and, you mentioned that part of Stoney holding and Morgan as the long snapper. I mean, I refer to that as the battery because you went through that. You had to hold. So what is the adjustment process of when you go through so many kickers, from your point of view of learning how a guy likes you to hold the ball, getting all the timing down, because that's something that they're going to have to work on here in the next few weeks before they kick off against the Saints?
Yeah, I mean, when I got here with Rob was extremely detailed. Coming from Denver, I was with Matt Prater, who's obviously still playing out with Arizona. But Rob was his details were unbelievable. And so from anything from a right to left wind, he wanted it held a certain way, left to right wind, into the wind, with the wind, even a certain distance. Maybe he wanted the tilt maybe a little bit back to get a little more height. It was a lot. And so for me, my second year coming into that, it was kind of overwhelming, but working with him taught me a lot as you're not just catching the snap, you're putting it down. And you hope you hit the spot and you hope the kicker makes it right. There's just so much more to that. And I was able to carry that over when Ryan came. Ryan's also a very, very detailed person to the point where, he's out there practicing and we have a tape measure and he's measuring his steps back and steps over left hash, right hash, angles of those kicks, and just doing them over and over again. But those two guys, if you were to go tell them, hey, man, it's 50 yards out, we're having fun at practice, go put it off the left upright, both of them could do it, right? And so accuracy for them was a premium. And so there's little things, when you're holding little details that, Stoney's that he's learning. I was trying to, help him out a little bit last year. And, to have a guy like Morgan who's, laces are at 12 o'clock pretty much every single time, that also helps a lot too. And so there's definitely some adjustment. I know going through two guys in camp, you got Badgley coming in real quick. I know how he likes it. He's just straight up and down, right? And then now you got Nick Folk coming in and just learning, hey, how do you like it? What are the details you like? And then just repping it.
Former Titans punter Brett Kern is here with us. And so I go back to when Steven Gostkowski, who you mentioned earlier, was with the Patriots for a long time. He comes in, he doesn't have training camp, is just kind of thrown into the fire. And there were some adjustments, some struggles early on. So do you, now folks going through that with the Titans, how much did that hurt Steven to not get that extra time, to get those reps with you and the Bo at the time as the long snapper? And do you think Nick might have to go through somewhat of an adjustment because of that too?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing with Steven was, I think people forget, is that he went on IR the year before. I think he only kicked, until week 4, and he had a pretty major surgery on his hip. And so he was out that whole time. And I mean, that's a lot. Anytime, I remember, the 2017 season, I kicked half the year with a sports hernia with a torn ab muscle, right?
Yeah.
And I got surgery right after the Pro Bowl, and it took me it probably wasn't until about halfway through the 2018 season where I felt like, all right, the scar tissue has subsided. I actually feel like I can go punt how I'm used to punting without it, hurting per se, right? And so for Steven, he's coming off of surgery, all of that in the off season. He's kind of kicking on his own, but, to come in with no preseason, no training camp, nothing like that was, extremely difficult. And I remember having conversations about him, like, this is a lot harder than I thought it would be, right? Because you need that rhythm, you need that rapport, and to try to figure it out during the season isn't necessarily the easiest thing to do. But, Nick's been kicking, obviously going through the whole off-season program with the Patriots, and then having the 3 preseason games. So I think he'll be a little bit ahead of the curve than what Steven was.
So a lot of times, in a situation like this, and we had it happen, people would text and be like, why can't Stonehouse just kick? Because, you could save a roster spot. So will you help explain the biggest difference, that you go through as a punter and then a place kicker, and why you don't really – I know maybe back in the day you did, but you don't really see that anymore of guys doing both?
Yeah, it's honestly, even though you're kicking a football, it's 2 totally different motions. You're using 2 different muscle groups. I mean, if you were to see kickers, what their injury report looks like compared to punters is different. Kickers, using more of their quad, right? I never had to deal with my quad at all while punting, but I had to deal with back issues. And so, but kickers usually don't. Kickers usually get calf muscles that are tight. Punters don't. Punters have to deal more with their plant knee, right? And so it's almost like saying, with swimming, right? Well, you're in the pool, right? Just go swim. But, the breaststroke is totally different than the backstroke. So why couldn't Michael Phelps win gold medal in everything? Well, he probably could do everything well. Obviously, he won a ton of medals in the events that he did. But for him to go do the breaststroke per se and go try to win a gold medal, well, he could do it. He could probably have a good time, but he's not going to be the best, right? I'm sure you have plenty of punters that can kick, and you have kickers that can punt, but they're not going to be the best at it because it's such a specialized thing that the best kickers in the world are great at what they do, and the best punters in the world are great at what they do. Could they go kick a field goal if they have to? Absolutely. I mean, Jake Elliott, when I was in Philly last year, when Sipos got hurt, he went out and punted and averaged 40 yards. Well, that's great, but is that sustainable? Probably not, right? So you look at guys like McAfee and a punter that kicks off, right? Kicking off is obviously the kicking motion, but those guys, those careers were cut short because they couldn't handle the load of punting and doing the kicking. And so I try to tell a lot of young guys, I was having conversations when I was playing with, Logan Cook down in Jacksonville, like, hey man, like, you're a great punter, don't kick off. It'll cut your career short. I haven't seen anybody, as long as I've played, I didn't see anybody make it over 10 years that was able to punt and kick off, just because it's so hard on your body, both those motions on your lower body. It's tough to do, and it's two different motions. So
that's interesting, because that was where I was going to go with this next. And you had 9 kickoffs, I guess, in your career, according to Pro Football Reference. But what the Titans may do in that sense, because Folk has kind of averaged the last few years of putting it at the 5 or the 6, not into the end zone. But you would recommend, if you're giving advice to Ryan Stonehouse, don't kick off, just let them figure it out with Nick Folk.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've already texted Stoney that. Don't you even think about it. So yeah, and that's my 9 kickoffs actually were punts after safeties, which those are terrible. But that's probably the least favorite part of punting. but I know in New England, Nick Folk, up there with Coach Belichick, that's their strategy. That's, hey, let's try to put it between the 5 and the goal line. When you got guys like Slater running down there, and you have your speed guys at the 5 and the 4s, like they go down and they hunt and they want to make it uncomfortable for you returning kicks. They just, some teams are just, hey, you know what? Let's just boot it through the end zone, touchback, get it to 25, let's roll, right? Same thing with, maybe catching punts. It's, hey, fair catch it, or catch it, don't turn it over so our offense can get the ball back and let's go. Don't even worry about trying to get a big play 10, 15, 20 yards. There's just different strategies with special teams. And I know up in New England, it was, whether it was Jake Bailey when he was kicking off or Nick when he had to, it's, hey, let's try to get this thing 4-1, 4-2 hang right down to the 5 goal line, and let's make them have to return it from the corner, which is extremely difficult to do all the time.
So what is the adjustment, going to punting now, which you made a career of? What is the adjustment from a guy like you that, if depending on where you're kicking from, they say, hey, put it out between the 5 and the 10 or whatever, and you could do that. You could basically put the ball wherever you wanted. And then Stonehouse has the rocket leg, and he's working on kind of his accuracy, but you're two different guys. So what changes with the actual coverage on punt team based on the kind of punter that you have?
Yeah, it just depends on what you feel more comfortable with coverage, right? And so, at least for me, when I came out, it was, you had to be directional. It was Devin Hester, Darren Sproles. At one point, Kansas City was putting McCluster and Arenas back there, 2 punt returners that alone, one by themselves, would keep you up at night, right? And so you had a directional punt, and you wanted that ball towards the sidelines to really allow your coverage to just go over there and try to put as many bodies as you can over to the sidelines, so that really guys didn't have anywhere to move, right? And so, when you got guys coming out of college that are just, catch it and bang it, and their legs are, they're unbelievable. Watching Stonehouse punt, it's like, gosh, I don't even know what it feels like to hit a ball like that, right? So, but coverage is, hey, let's everybody get out, let's get into our lanes, and you're almost kind of treating it more like a kickoff, right? And so it's just two different styles. And, right now, I feel like the error or the time of punting is, hey, just go down there, let's bang it, let's hit it 55, 60, let's go cover it, let's try to net 45 out of it, and we'll call it a day, right? And so it's the same thing, like linebackers, right? Well, the size and the speed of linebackers is changing compared to when I first got in the league. It was Brian Urlacher, right? These bigger bodied to go stop the run, and now it's, hey, we need linebackers that can cover, right? Who can cover Tajay Spears coming out of the backfield? That is not easy to do, right? So we're just kind of in the era now where it's, hey, let's go rip it, let's go cover it, and let's try to flip field position that way.
Brett Kern is with us, former Titans punter. Coaches get a lot of flack, whether it's right or it's wrong, but you worked with Craig Aukerman for a long time. So what was your relationship like with him, and what does he bring as a special teams coach for the Titans?
Yeah, our relationship was great. His first year here was the first year I made a Pro Bowl, and then we strung 3 in a row together, which was really cool to experience together. But he also let me just kind of do my thing, right? And so he allowed me to, hey, in warmups, what are you feeling? You want to go left? You want to go right? You dictate what you want to do. I'll tell the guys, and let's go roll, right? And so for me, that gave me a lot of confidence to go out there and do my job the best that I can. Where I know sometimes you get a lot of young kids that are coming in from college, and the special teams coordinator wants to fit them into their mold, right? And so it becomes difficult in a sense of, hey, I know in college you had your steps like this, kicking wise, or maybe you held the ball, punting wise like this. Let's kind of change some things up. And honestly, most of the time that doesn't work, right? And so, we had a great relationship, and as far as just kind of letting me, kind of do my own thing, and was a great encourager, and the relationship worked. So I think, with him, it's just trying to figure out now that they got Nick Folk, a veteran in there, he doesn't have to necessarily worry about his kicker and punter or anything like that, or a snapper. Like, I think as a coordinator and probably as a head coach, like, those are probably the last 3 people you won't have to worry about, right? I want to go out there. I want to scheme. How can we best do our kickoff coverage, right? What works on our kickoff? Punt rushes, like scheming up punt rushes, right? And so he's very good at that. And so I think by allowing Nick to come in and have some veteran presence, that'll allow him to kind of focus on some other things and not have to worry about the specialists.
But before we let you go, obviously you are officially retired now, and the Titans gave you that honor with the press conference and giving you your jersey and everything. So and I know last year you went through training camp and then joined the Eagles halfway through the season for their run to the Super Bowl. But what's it like, and what do you expect it to be like week 1 when you know that you're done punting in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. This morning I was up at 4:30 going to play some basketball, and was up at 4:30 yesterday morning going to play some pickleball. So I'm actually burning more calories than I ever played. So it's been great just being able to be around my family a lot more, and to experience being able to coach my kids and being able to be there for everything, and taking them to school and picking them up, and just things that I've missed throughout the years with playing football. And so it's been a huge blessing just to have that. And, I think, I tell people, like, it'll be weird just because, like, even when I watched the Bears preseason game with the Titans, I had a little panic attack because I felt like I missed a flight. Like, why am I not there? Right. And so there's been some things, and I've talked to some guys that are retired, and they said they've kind of gone through the same thing, just because your body, for the last 15 years, I've been used to a calendar and a rhythm. And so it's different. But from the standpoint of missing it, I mean, I felt like I've poured out everything that I could for football, over the last 15 years, as far as punting and the tank per se is empty, right? I got nothing left to give football wise, just body and mentally and physically. And so it'll be awesome to watch games this year with no stress and everything like that. And so I'm looking forward to watching the games this year and seeing how the Titans do.
Well, do you expect to go to some games and just be a fan?
Yeah, I mean, I went to the preseason game. I took my 11-year-old daughter. I just did a little a thing for Pinnacle Bank before the game, and so I was like, you know what? I don't know if she's ever been on the field before a game, and so I figured why not try to get some passes and get down there and see some guys. And it was great to see KB, and Coach Dean Pease was there, so we got to catch up a little bit. And she got to go down to the field, and she asked me if Coach Vrabel was the guy that played Maverick, right? And so she saw the Aviators and was really kind of confused / excited. I was like, no, Bet, that's Coach Vrabel. She's like, oh, okay. Well, did he play Maverick? No, that's Tom Cruise, right? So but it was a good time, good experience for her. And we stayed for, just a little bit, and then we headed home. But, I plan on going to some games this year just to support the guys. And, I still have some really good buddies that are on the team and really pulling for them.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best. Thanks so much for doing this today in the Insight, and we will definitely have you on again soon. But I know you'll probably hit the golf course soon as well, so hit them straight, and thanks for doing this.
I appreciate it. Tee time's in about 50 minutes, so
nice.
This is good timing. So y'all have a great rest of the day.
Perfect. Thanks, Brett. Brett Kern, longtime Titans punter, joining us here on the show. A lot of good stuff there. We'll react to that. Good info too on how kicking works in the NFL. That's next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
The Vanderbilt Commodores are ready for year 3 under head coach Clark Lee.
As we stand now in front of a clean sheet. Our goal is postseason play.
And we are your home for all of the action.
Touchdown, Vandy. The doors on the board. Vandy, 24-21, your final.
Vanderbilt football lives on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tenacious D and the Spicy Meatball Tour. Rightfully hailed as the greatest band on earth, Tenacious D are coming to you live September 7th, First Bank Amphitheater, Franklin, Tennessee. On sale now at LiveNation.com, part of the Farm Bureau Insurance Concert Series. Buy tickets at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Tenacious D live in all their glory.
We've all been affected or know someone who's been affected by the dangers of drug addiction. Join STARS in collaboration with the Tennessee Lifeline Peer Project, Thursday, August 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. for Seen, Loved, Honored, an overdose awareness gathering at Nashville First Church of the Nazarene, 510 Woodland Street. This free interactive event is designed to honor those who have died by overdose while providing hope-focused stories from those who have transformed their grief. Please join us and share this event with others. This project is funded under a grant contract with the State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
The Nashville Sheriff wants to pay you $55,700 a year. Now hiring correctional officers. Positions are available immediately. You must be 21 and over with a high school diploma or a GED. Come, join our family and earn $55,700 after paid training and probation. Apply now at sheriff.nashville.gov/apply or call 615-862-8170. Stop searching. Apply now. The Nashville Sheriff.
It's Raymond and Austin. We're back on All-Star Sports Radio. Celebrating their 30th year, our sportsbook and casino sponsor, BetUS.com, is going big.
That's right, Austin. Sports bettors can win a new truck, get the industry's biggest 125% sign-up bonus, and even get up to 30 risk-free bets.
Touchdown! BetUS also has a 150% casino sign-up bonus.
Blackjack, now you're talking, Austin. They also have live dealers and live betting on sports, including racetrack.
Get started today at BetUS.com, where the game begins.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Blue Raider football lives on 93.3 Classic Hits.
Saturday, the Blue Raiders open their season in Tuscaloosa against Alabama. Our coverage begins at 5:30.
Your home for the Blue Raiders is 93.3 Classic Hits. The Suit is in the building. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Really good stuff with Brett Kern. Appreciate him joining us. We'll definitely check in with him throughout the Titan season. The insight, I mean, played in the league long time, played here for a long time. So there's certainly a lot that he can add. But, I think what the most interesting thing to me is just how he described, the kicking motion between what's different between being a punter and a kicker and guys that did both and how it cut their career short. I mean, he, like I said, he attempted 9 kickoffs in his career. And then you've seen McAfee that, he had a shorter career because he did both. Let's see, Craig Hentrick played what? I mean, he played a long time. He played 12 years in the league, was here for a long time. And I'm trying to remember, did he? Yeah, he did kickoffs. I mean, he of course he did. He kicked off a majority of his career with the Titans. So, I mean, 12 years, it's still a solid career, but, Brett played 13 or 15. Yeah, it was 15. So, I mean, that you can look at that. I mean, there's certainly data to support that of the different kicking motions that come with it. But really great insight, from him on that. Coming up in the next hour, Big Joe Dubin going to join us for the 10 o'clock hour. We'll talk to Rick Stockstill about MTSU's matchup against Alabama at 10:30. But we'll get Joe's thoughts on the Titans roster and talk a little O-line as well. That's next. Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Hey guys, it's Mike from Newton Chevrolet in Russellville. The July 4th holiday might be over, but we're still thinking about how grateful we are to be living in a country where fireworks, freedom, ring so loud. But we know gratitude needs actions to back it up. So we've created a military appreciation offer that will run year-round for all active duty, reserves, retirees, honorable discharges, and Gold Star family members. Our military appreciation everyday package will include a $500 grocery gift card, a prepaid maintenance package valued at $1,199, and an additional $500 rebate if you buy a new Chevy. Plus, we offer the convenience of shopping online using Newton FastPass, so that you don't have to travel to us until you're ready to pick up your new or pre-owned vehicle. Visit newtoncbr.com/military appreciation to learn more. That's newtoncbr.com/military appreciation.
Vanderbilt Commodore fans, 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, along with 94.9 The Fan, is your new home for broadcast of games and the Commodore Hour on Monday evenings. Catch all the action for football, men's and women's basketball, and baseball all season long. Go Doors!
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
At Mitchell's Mr. Transmission, we also offer free towing with any major repairs. If your vehicle has a breakdown and you should need any type towing, towing is available through Dad's Towing Service. Dad's is a professional towing company in Nashville that provides all types towing and recovery, 24 hours a day.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
All of us at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game want to recognize our active military, veterans, first responders, and educators with the playing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light was so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular
is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Now, your Game Center update.
This is Nick Frazier, and this Game Center update is brought to you by BetUS Sportbook and Casino, celebrating 30 years with a special football season offer up to 30 risk-free bets. It's called Bet Protect. Get started with BetUS.com. The Tennessee Titans finally have their kicker. On roster cut day, the Titans traded the 2025 7th-round pick for former New England Patriot Nick Folk. Tim Hasselbeck joined Caroline Willie and D-Mace and shared his thoughts about the new addition to the Titans roster.
Nick Folk's kicked a long time, and he's been a very good kicker. Is he perfect? No, none of these guys are. I don't care who it is. Here's where I would say, and I think Randy Bullock fits the mold here, and I think that Folk fits the mold here. But he's proved that he can kick in the NFL.
Right.
I think that's what you don't want to do, is ever enter in when you're like, you know what, I don't know how this guy's going to handle this moment. And we've seen that happen to guys.
Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight as the Nashville Sounds look to get a bounce-back win versus the Durham Bulls, the AAA affiliate of the Tampa Bay Rays. You're listening to 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
For more, follow us on Twitter. Live from the Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical Studios. WPRT FM Pegram, WPUZ HD2 Laverne.
Ross Chastain will be first to finish in the Ally 500 at Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3.
Checkered flag is in the air. Man, this is a win in the cup race.
The Game.
A Cromwell media station.
Nashville.
The suit is in the building.
Acknowledge me.
Are you ready? Ready? This is Chase McCabe on Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hour number 2, Chase McCabe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chase McCabe, Nick Frazier behind the glass. Big Joe Dubin in studio with us now.
Chaser, what's up, buddy?
What's up, JoJo?
Oh, you know, just getting ready for the big game on Saturday night.
Yeah, so when do you head to T-Town?
We will leave Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock, get down there Friday evening in Tuscaloosa, find a great place to eat, and I'll sleep about 12 hours. Now, I'll be up early Saturday morning and probably watch that Vols game and then head over to the stadium in the early afternoon.
And so the limo and the Learjet,
yes.
The limo will take you to the Learjet. Chip Walter's personal jet, right?
Yes, and then we're going to fly to Orange Beach for a couple hours just to see the ocean,
Yeah,
and then
dip your toe in the water.
Yeah, do that and have a Mai Tai, and then come back up to Tuscaloosa for late Friday night, and then Saturday we'll hang out with Saban for a little bit, just for a little bit at his house.
Yeah, just,
say hi to him.
Can't go out on the lake. He doesn't have time.
Right, yeah, he's busy. And plus that lake's he's got a huge lake house in Georgia.
Yeah. What is it, Lake Burton?
I think I have no idea. I was trying to Lake Okeechobee. I don't know. It's something somewhere. But I know his neighbors are like Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh yeah,
Alan Jackson, and
yeah. I mean, they it's a little out of our price range.
I mean, it's not Rayon City.
No,
at Old Hickory Lake.
I know you and Mike Organ like hanging out in Rayon City.
It's the Rayon City is the Hamptons of the South. If people realize that, it's the same thing. If you go to the Hamptons. And if you realize when you come here to Rayon City, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
We'll talk to Rick Stockstill at the bottom of the hour, but I wanted to get your thoughts on the Titans, their 53-man roster. 20% of that are rookies. They have 11 rookies on this team, the whole draft class, and then some undrafted guys. So this team has definitely gotten younger, and I think it's interesting that Rand Carthon and Mike Vrabel, are going to go into this season with some unproven guys and hoping that they can make a difference.
Well, I think it's got to be you win a lot of tournament last year. Lawan's gone. Ben Jones is gone. A lot of guys are gone that way. So you wanted guys who come in and buy into the system. I mean, you see that. Vrabel did, the Patriot way for many years. You watch a lot of these guys that came in that weren't high draft choices, were guys that were free agents that transferred over that came in. Once you buy into the system, it's fine. The people had meltdowns yesterday over who got cut and what.
Yeah.
I mean, do you not trust your coach and the GM that they know what's
trust
best
the process?
Out there? Yeah. Oh, don't say that. I'll see that idiot on Saturday. Goodness. Ken Wisenhunt, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what he does now, right?
Is he part of the Nick Saban head coaching rehabilitation program?
Yes. He's special assistant to Nick Saban. So Ken
what
Wisenhunt,
can he assist with?
Man, I don't know.
Being a jerk?
Coffee,
yep. Something like that.
Yeah. Did I tell you he and I got a little bit into it? I tell you the story.
You probably did. I mean,
so
I was producing.
2015, he was coaching the Titans, and every time Mariota would make a nice play, he'd fist bump him, right? So you're at training camp, you run out of stories to tell. That was back then when we had all that access. And you like to tell different stories during training camp because it's just, like, hey, today, blah, blah, blah. You do something different. Well, I kept noticing he wouldn't fist bump Mettenberger or Charlie Whitehurst, but he would fist bump Mariota. So I got like 40 frames of video of him doing this, just different shots. So after practice, I said, hey, curious, what's the fist bump with Mariota? He's like, I'm not doing that. I don't know what you're talking about. And I thought he was being funny. I'm like, oh, well, whatever. And then I do a story that night about fist bumps. Ask Mariota about it. He's like, I don't know. He just comes over about, it was just something silly and goofy.
It's different.
So the next day, Wisnot's coming to practice, and he makes a beeline to me. He's like, so you did tell that story? I'm like, yeah, man, the fist bump, He's like, okay, I see how it's going to be, and walked off. Bumping a story? Get out of here, man.
But that's how he was. I mean, he just it was like stuff like that would set him off, and you just kind of go, what?
That's exactly right.
What? Like, why is that a big deal? I mean, look, Vrabel can get, one thing that I have is like the Vrabel pissiness scale, where he is on a certain day.
Yeah.
And there are times, more times than not, that he's, about a 7 or an 8, somewhere in there. But even with him, I think that he would have some fun with a thing like that of like, he may not give you details, but it's like, it's just a thing you have as a part of your relationship with a player. But Wisenhunt, I mean, there's a reason that it crashed and burned the way that it did because how he treated the media, how he treated the players, how he treated alums. Like anybody that had worn a Titans uniform that wasn't a current player wasn't welcome there.
Just
anymore,
crazy.
Which was just dumb.
Yeah, that's just really, really odd. You should welcome those guys back. I mean, they've played here, they've gone on, and they're part of the history here. So it was just kind of odd. But getting the 53 in and getting those guys in, a lot of young guys that come in there, why not? I mean, they see something in them. They can mold them and teach them your way. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, the offensive line, though, is going to be the one that's the position group everybody's going to be watching because, the defense, I think, is going to be good. There's not a ton of depth, but I think the whole team can say that. Receiver, all right, maybe something to pay attention to, obviously Tannehill, but if he didn't have any protection up front and he didn't have time to get rid of the football, it's going to be a long season, and I don't know. The only guy I feel really, really good about on that offensive line is the rookie Peter Skoronski. That's really about it. The rest I got to see.
Yeah, always. But, if you know that you're going to get this pressure, you make quick passes. You do a lot of things to get out of that. Don't put all the pressure on the offensive line. I don't see Tannehill doing a seven-step drop back
no.
and having all day to throw the football because he's going to get just destroyed back there. But I think we've got a week and a half to hash this. They go play the Saints on that Sunday. But I think they're working. And, and the 53, this isn't the final 53. I mean, It's going to change after the first game of the season. There are players that come in there. But I got to tell you what, man, that defense, that front, Titans defense, could that be the best? I don't know. I don't know all their teams are the front lines in the NFL, but that's got to be a top 5.
I would think, yeah. I mean, and that's where I think it helps the offensive line of having to go up against that every day. I mean, if you're, Aaron Brewer or you're Andre Dillard and you're looking at Jeffrey Simmons every day, I mean, you're having nightmares at night, but at the same time, it's going to make you better for when you go up against some of these other defensive fronts that they're going to face.
Yeah, not only that, but you do the one-on-ones in practice and all that stuff. That's the one part with the offensive line. Defensive line can still go kind of full scale at each other, especially during pass pro and then blocking, because some of that's been, with practice and camp, it's been taken away because of the collective bargaining, you can't tackle and all of these things that go on. But I think with the offensive line, defensive line battling during camp is good. So I think they'll figure it out and get it done. I mean, just go down there and just concentrate on the Saints and just go down there and get that win week 1, and then everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, well, not an easy place to play, in the Superdome. But
no Kamara.
No
Kamara. Kamara. Tomorrow, tomato. Today,
I don't know.
potato.
I usually say Kamara. Alvin Kamara.
You know what? Funny with Kamara, what I think about
Does
with
Butch
him?
Jones know his name? I mean, he didn't play him at all. at Tennessee.
Right. I always remember them playing Vanderbilt, and Vandy fans love this, is that when it was like 4th and 10, they threw late in the game, threw an out pass to Kamara, and he stepped out of bounds. I swear he thought it was 2nd down. Because he was shocked, like, well, that was 4th down?
Yeah.
And just stepped out. Did not try to get any yards going forward. It was just an odd end to a game.
Well, that was Tennessee in the Butch Jones era, pretty much.
That's right.
I will never – that's one of those things that I will never understand. You look at the career he's had in the NFL, and then you go back, and obviously he was good enough at Tennessee for them to notice something, but that Butch would not play him.
Right.
You remember, just not use him the way that he needed to be used.
Do you remember Kamara started out, who he backed up, and the reason he left?
Was that Jalen Hurd?
No.
Who did he back up?
Derrick Henry at Alabama.
Oh, yeah, that's
he
right.
Transferred out, ended up going to Tennessee.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
That 2013 draft recruiting class for Alabama.
Yeah, I thought you meant at Tennessee because Hurd and Kamara were there at the same time, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And then Hurd had the season in 2016 where he got laid out during the South Carolina? No, was it the Georgia game when he crossed the goal line and some people thought he was hot dogging and crossed the line and got blasted at the goal line and got knocked out.
Yeah,
a concussion from then on. Yeah,
yeah. No, I remember that. Speaking of college football, we'll talk some college football because it's week 1. We got the wet our whistle last week with week 0, but it is for real. And honestly, Joe, there's one game that really intrigues me this weekend, but there are several that obviously we'll be paying attention to. We'll discuss that coming up next. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin hanging out with us. And speaking of, you can check out Vanderbilt football, 102.5, 106.3 The Game this Saturday. Commodores will kick off at 6 o'clock at home against Alabama A&M. Pregame at 4:30, and you can hear it all on 102.5 The Game app, and theGameNashville.com.
Every Wednesday at 8:30. Join Robbie and Rexroad for The Choice is Yours.
2 sports questions, 2 non-sports questions.
They'll answer a couple of questions about life and sports. The Choice is Yours is built by Jarrett Companies. You have a choice. So when you have a need for site and utility work, fire protection, concrete and asphalt services, the choice is simple. It's Jarrett Companies. For more, visit JarrettCompaniesInc.com. The Choice is Yours. Wednesdays at 8:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
At Mercedes-Benz of Music City, a healthy and productive culture takes a day-to-day discipline. Here's Sam Cavett, General Manager, with a few thoughts.
Mercedes-Benz has its standard, and we have Dream Motor Group standards. They're definitely on the same level, but I feel like we challenge ourselves at least as much as Mercedes-Benz challenges us. It's a genuine motivation to take care of customers, and we see it in the customer reviews.
Live the dream at Mercedes-Benz of Music City, mbofmc.com.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can do it now in less than a week. Hey, Willie Donick here. That's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. You don't even have to touch your primary mortgage. You can keep that 3% rate intact. Get just the money you need and pay off all those credit cards or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Folks, I went into a PhD weight loss program with a goal losing 38 pounds, lost 39. And, I might take it to 40, but the thing I know is that I'm going to keep the weight off. Hey, it's Joe Rexroad here. I want to tell you about PhD. It's a great plan for losing weight, great plan for maintenance. The food items are delicious. They give you up to 85% of your food. There's no pills. There's no gimmicks. And it feels sustainable, right? That's a huge thing for people who want to lose weight. Can you keep it off? Can you keep going with it? Everyone has a plateau. Every program has one. You kind of get to a certain point, you lose interest, you move on to something else. This program busts the plateau. It's constant care. It's a program that's tweaked for you. You're coached weekly, and my coach Rachel was fantastic, motivating me, telling me what's going on with my body, and changing the program as I needed it to change to make it perfect for me. It's simple and easy, and there's a guarantee. If you don't get within 5 pounds of your target weight at the end of your program, PhD will continue to coach you for free until you do. Join me now. You won't regret it. Visit myphdweightloss.com.
Vanderbilt football lives here.
This Saturday, it's Vandy and Alabama A&M at First Bank Stadium. Kickoff at 6. Pre-game coverage begins at 4:30.
Your home for the Commodores is 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. The Suit is in the building.
3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch, 3-hour lunch.
3 hours. Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
What are the tells as far as, like, I expect Tennessee to beat Virginia by about 90. So what are the tells of either A, Joe Milton can do this, or B, last year was kind of the perfect storm one-hit wonder with Hendon Hooker?
The tell is accurate throws down the field by Milton with a high trajectory. The reason Milton lost the job to Hooker to begin with was because he didn't hit the deep balls, the vertical receivers going deep. He would throw the ball on a laser and he'd throw it 60 yards down the field. But when you throw it like that, when you throw a dart with a flat trajectory, it's got to arrive at the receiver with perfect accuracy because the receiver doesn't have the time or the space to adjust to the ball. It's coming in low. It's coming in hot. Hooker, and so he would overthrow guys by 5 yards. Hooker came in and put the ball in the air, and it looked like he was hyper accurate down there, and he was accurate enough. But with the ball higher in the air, the receiver could adjust his route to that trajectory. He could slow down a little and box out the defender. He could speed up. He could move left or right, depending on where that ball was coming down, and meet the ball at the catch point when it comes down. In the bowl game, Joe Milton looked like he was trying to do that, and he was throwing the ball higher in the air, and he succeeded some of the time. Some of the time, it was a little bit goofy. He was throwing some real weird-looking rainbows to some weird-looking spots, but you could see his brain working, and he was trying to get that done. And my assumption is that all offseason he's been working on that kind of a trajectory with his throws. And if he's able to add that to his lasers that we know he can throw, and with his athleticism as a runner, how big and strong he is and fast, then I think this team has a chance to have a better offense than it did last year.
That was Trevor Mattich, ESPN college football analyst, joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin.
I will tell you that is my favorite radio segment of any station in the market.
Oh, yeah. Trevor's awesome.
Fantastic.
Trevor,
it's fantastic.
Because Trevor tells it like it is. I mean,
he's got good knowledge. I mean, he played the game. I mean, it's just really good to hear what he talks about with in relation to college football.
Joe Milton, everything hinges on Joe Milton with Tennessee. Can they build on what they did last year? Do you view – so my view of last year for Tennessee was obviously it was a great season for them, considering where they've been and the build-up and year two of Josh Heupel. But I think that maybe they overachieved a little bit. Maybe they did better than people had thought they were going to do that year. So that creates new expectations for this year. But to me, if they were to fall back a smidge, I don't think that's the end of the world.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And the schedule's favorable for them starting out with Virginia, here in Nashville, Austin P. You know, it gets 2 games under the belt. They'll have to go at Florida. I mean, that's not going to be easy to do that. And I'll tell you what, you could laugh off Texas San Antonio. That's a very good football team. Really good. Now, I mean, they got to go into Knoxville. It's a different environment. You play at Neyland Stadium. But, I mean, here's what I'm talking about. You know, Joe Milton, it's all about the rhythm. You know, Trevor Match was talking about the rhythm, getting the rhythm going. If I'm the head coach of Virginia, here's what I do on Saturday, and I'm being totally serious. I have a player have a cramp on every single
You're that guy.
play because college football has not figured out how to determine if you're injured, not injured, should you stay out, should you stay in, what's going on. Every play, I'd have a rotation of about 4 to 6 guys. How can you stop that?
Yeah, I mean, you see it all the time.
Every single play, I'd have a guy fall down and grab his calf.
It's one of the many reasons why college football games take way too long.
Yeah, and it's going to be, you know, I'm not going to let Tennessee dictate the offense to me if I'm Virginia's defense. I'm not going to let them do that. Go, because you're not going to keep up. Look, high school football is now, a lot of it we've seen the last 2 weeks, I've seen, they've adopted this no-huddle approach. Line up and go, go, go. And these kids are arguing with each other on the other side of the ball, like, where do we go, what happened? And next thing you know, guys got 25 yards down the field. So if I'm a coach, I am having a guy grab his calf look, it's about winning the football game. I don't care what it looks like. It's about winning the game. I'm going to fall down and grab my calf. And then Chase is going to come in, and then Nick's going to come in, and then Ricky's going to come in. He'll be out of breath, though. And then we'll just keep going and on and on and on, and that'll upset the rhythm of the game. It's got to.
Yeah, I mean, but you see that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I go back to, I guess, what's it been, 2 years now, Ole Miss, Tennessee.
Yeah, right.
And, Kiffin, I mean, that they were doing that. That's what Ole Miss was trying to do, was slow down the rhythm, but because that's Josh Heupel's offense. It's that up-tempo, and that's why I think that they're able to, at least in the first year and then even some last year, they were able to, get up on some teams because you just couldn't figure out how to slow it down.
Right. You can see
was
that
the speed.
Yeah, I mean, all the games, even the Alabama game, those guys
100%.
were like wide open down the field, guys arguing with each other, and it's hard to assimilate that in practice during the week. That's why, when you play like a triple option team, you want to play the triple option team the first game of the year because you got all summer and camp to practice for that. You don't want to play the triple option team the fifth game in when you've been seeing spread offenses all year. Next thing you know, now you got to try to defend a triple option. It's almost impossible.
The game of the weekend, and it could be one of the games of the year, in my opinion, is in Orlando, as LSU will take on Florida State
that's a good
on
game.
Sunday night.
Right.
I love that matchup. LSU is probably a team that I think could win the West, maybe compete with Georgia for the SEC altogether, or, they could kind of be where they have been the last few years. It's Brian Kelly. I don't know. Brian Kelly leaves Notre Dame, had obviously a nice run there at Notre Dame, got them to some playoffs, but can he lead LSU to a championship? Time will tell. I am really curious about that matchup between these two teams this week.
Well, I thought last year when they lost to Florida State, it was like, because the LSU fans went after Brian Kelly, like, this is terrible, it's no good. Then they lost to Tennessee a few weeks later, and thinking, wow, this is a bad season. Give him his first year, it's going to go on. And then they kind of got it together, beat Alabama, and then rolled all the way to the SEC championship game. Remember, Georgia just pounded them in the SEC championship game. So there's a lot left for LSU to catch up with. But again, this will be a good test year number 2 for Brian Kelly. I mean, he's a good coach, but Florida State's got a good football team, and that's going to be a great game down in Orlando. But
they need to have a good football team. I mean, they like Florida State. It's been a while, since Jimbo left, and even towards the end of Jimbo, it was starting to go the wrong direction, and they've tried to figure it out since then. So you got to hope that they're back to being the Florida State we all remember.
Yeah, they are. And so with that game in Orlando, that's probably a 50-50 split because LSU fans love
LSU
to travel.
a 2.5-point favorite.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
I mean, that seems right. It seems right to me.
Yeah, I'd try to take LSU in that if I would.
A game that I find intriguing. I don't think everybody's going to find intriguing. You might. North Carolina, South Carolina, because North Carolina, since Mac has been back there, I think is a team that they're better. They're obviously better. South Carolina is one of those teams, they could finish second in the East or fifth.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of momentum there for Shane Beamer. That's a good game. Is that being played in Charlotte? Is that where that game is?
It's in Charlotte, yeah.
Yeah. So
North Carolina, a 2.5-point favorite.
And I've always thought South Carolina was just like a sleeping giant for many years. I know Spurrier got a little success there. Muschamp was awful there. But there's a lot, and Beamer tapped into it last year for a little bit, winning those games, getting the crowd kind of fired up. That's always been a sleeping giant to me, and maybe Beamer's the one that can wake it up because there's a lot of talent in South Carolina. Heck, Fulmer used to go in there and steal all that talent out of South Carolina, and Florida State's done the same as well, going to South Carolina, taking those guys. Get those guys to stay home, but don't go out and say, I'm going to build Butch Jones built a brick wall around the state, and you're going to get my players. Didn't Jalen Ramsey got out of here, and a few other guys did as well. But I think that's a good game as well.
Yeah, and Spencer Rattler, in some people's eyes, could be a dark horse for the Heisman.
Boy, that Tennessee game, he just torched.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, that that changed the season because, people might want to say that, well, Hendon Hooker got hurt. He was playing like crap before he got hurt. The whole team was.
Yeah, they were.
So, I mean, I don't think him getting hurt had anything to do with the outcome of that game. To me, it was already over.
I totally agree with you on that.
So South Carolina is an interesting one to watch. I will be curious to get your thoughts next week after you see Alabama up close and personal as they'll host MTSU, because I kind of got this vibe from Nick Saban, in talking season at SEC Media Days, that he had a little bit of that swagger back, that he was kind of joking with the media, and it seemed like he was in a good mood. And whenever he's that way,
right,
he knows something we don't.
Well, nobody's talking about him.
Right.
It's Georgia, LSU. We talk about South Carolina.
Yep.
What's going to happen in Alabama? It's kind of a afterthought for a lot of things. I think he relishes in that.
Some people feel like that, that they're not going to be as good, that, they could still lose 2, maybe 3, and not win the West and not get back to the college football playoff. I'm kind of in wait-and-see mode, but I'm also in the I think Daddy's got a little swagger back, and that should scare some people.
Well, after the middle game, they host Texas.
That's a huge game.
Massive game. And I think that plays into MTSU's favor on Saturday, because how much does Saban want? Saban would like to go out and beat MTSU 31-0.
Yep.
Show very little, run the ball almost every single time, up the gut every time, show very little, and go that way. And I think middle's going to ruin the party.
I do too. And we'll find out more about that because Rick Stockstill, MTSU's head coach, is going to join us coming up next here on the program. Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin in today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
They combine hard-hitting journalism.
The Titans asked Kevin Byard to take a pay cut.
Strong-willed opinions.
There's hot takes and then there's like weird takes. Yeah. This is a weird take.
And sometimes some old man takes.
I'm excited about it. So do I gyrate embarrassingly?
To create the perfect morning show, they are Robbie and Rex Road. Mornings from 6 to 9. Presented by TJ Anderson Homes of Benchmark Realty on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
All right, Superbook Sports is here for football season. Go ahead and get your bets in with my official sportsbook app, Superbook Sports, here in Tennessee. They're the most trusted name out of Vegas, so why wouldn't you download that app? And right now you can use my promo code CHASE, C-H-A-S-E, to score up to $250 with their first bet bonus. Win or lose, they'll match your first bet up to $250 with the promo code CHASE. It's that simple. Will Tennessee win the division this year? Who's your pick for MVP? Which team will win it all in February? You got college coming up this weekend too. Tennessee, a 28-point favorite in town against Virginia. Don't sit on the sidelines. Win money this season with Superbook Sports. Download the Superbook Tennessee app or visit superbook.com to place your wager today. Use the Chase promo code when you do to get that $250 first bet bonus. Visit superbook.com for terms and conditions. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789.
Oh, Charlie's, that's where you find me. That southern flavor got me saying, hey, y'all. Yum, yum, have some fun. Share with the ones you love. Don't you want to roll?
At O'Charlie's, we thought you'd enjoy a little country rock and rolls. The warm, buttery, delicious kind. Served free with every meal. O'Charlie's. Oh, that's good.
Yum, yum, have some fun. Charlie's, born in Nashville, and it shows.
Blue Raider fans, your home for all the MTSU football and men's basketball action is on 93.3 Classic Hits and 95.1 Classic Hits in the borough. Catch the action all season long with Chip Walters on the call. Go Blue Raiders!
In any work environment, culture is the most important thing. And what makes up the culture? The people. Hey, this is General Manager Sean Ford with Cromwell Media. This month we want to highlight 2 individuals on our team celebrating their anniversary. First, Max Hers is celebrating over 5 years with us on 102.5 The Game. And our president and owner, Bud Walters, is celebrating his 51st year with Cromwell Media. Thanks to you for the community you've built here. If you're looking for a new career, reach out to us at together@cromwellmedia.com. Love what you do, love where you work.
Hey, did you tune in late? It's okay. It happens. You can subscribe to the Chase McCabe podcast wherever you get your podcasts. iTunes, Spotify, doesn't matter. Rate, subscribe, and review today.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin with you here, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. MTSU kicking off their season in Tuscaloosa, taking on Alabama. We'll have coverage for you at 5:30 on 93.3 Classic Hits, your new home for MTSU athletics and football, of course. And we say hello to Rick Stockstill, head football coach at Middle Tennessee State. He's going to join us every Wednesday at 10:30. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. Chase, Joe, how you guys doing?
We are doing fantastic. And, you know, when we talked to you a few weeks ago at practice as you were getting ready, obviously it was early in camp, but, you know, I brought up to you, hey, you like to do it right, opening the season against two SEC opponents, including going down to Alabama. So what is kind of the vibe with your team right now, getting ready to take on Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide?
Yeah, I really feel we're a confident bunch, and you know, we know what's, you know, the task at hand. We know how good Alabama is. We know that we have to play really well to give ourselves a chance, but we're prepared to do that. We've had a good, you know, since the bowl game in Hawaii, you know, the winter workout, spring ball, summer camp. You know, I feel like we've gotten better each day, and I like our mindset. We've got good leadership. I like the toughness of our team. You know, so I'm excited about, you know, starting this season. And yeah, we know what's at hand, like I said. But you know, let's go down there and hopefully we can play a good game and give ourselves a chance to win it.
The guy that's going to be calling the signals for you, Nick Vadiato, your quarterback, he's played a handful of games for you. He's a redshirt sophomore. Just how big is it to have that kind of leader at that position, but also as a redshirt sophomore, somebody that, you know, you can hopefully build around for years to come?
Yeah, you know, it's no secret how I feel about Nick, and I'm proud of him and, you know, his growth and maturity, you know, as a quarterback. And, you know, he hasn't played, you know, a lot, you know, 6.5 games, but at least he's played. He's run out that tunnel before. This won't be his first time, you know, this weekend. So, you know, Nick gives, you know, it's always hard for a quarterback to be a vocal leader when you're not the guy. And I really saw Nick take those steps, progress, you know, as a vocal leader, you know, when we got back from Hawaii in January, and then the off season, the summer and camp. He's really emerged himself as a guy this team respects, not only how he goes about his daily work, but how he communicates with everybody as well. So I'm proud of Nick, and I think he'll have a jam up year this year.
Talking to MTSU head football coach Rick Stockstill today. Coach, great seeing you Monday night at your coach's show. Packed house, great environment, a lot of fun. Can you tell me the story that the guy told you on the way to work Monday mornings? I just think that your reaction, your comment, and come back to him was fantastic. Do you mind telling that story?
Yeah, Joe. It was Monday morning, and you know I get to work pretty early, and you know where I park, you know I park, get out of my truck, and I'm walking in the building, and a guy was walking, you know, exercising, and he said, "Good morning." I said, "Good morning." And he said, "You looking forward to Alabama this weekend?" I said, "Yes, sir, I am. We're fired up about it." And he goes, "What a great learning experience it'll be for your team." You know, and I kind of paused a second, and I said, "You know what? It might be a great learning experience for their team." And, you know, have a good day. So nobody expects us to win this game except us. And we know how difficult it's going to be, but you know what? You know, you don't win the game on paper. You got to prove it on the field, and that's what we're going to go down there and do, and try to, you know, prove that we're the better team, or we're the team that can come out there with a victory on Saturday.
With Bama not releasing their depth chart, does that affect you guys? I mean, it has to a little bit, right?
You think they're scared? They don't want us, they don't want us to know who's going to be the starting quarterback or the starting right guard. No, not. Whoever they put out there is going to be a good player. And there's so many unknowns about everything in the first game for everybody's, playing their first game. And because there's going to be guys that didn't play for them last year, that are starters this year that, maybe were not on film last year. So they're not going to change schematically, what they're doing defensively or offensively. They haven't named a quarterback, but got a pretty good idea who it's going to be. And, and if it's not this guy, or it's this guy this quarter and somebody else, you're not going to see 2-3 different offenses. They're going to be what they are, who they are. And so it's not that big a deal, to be honest with you, Joe.
Are you big on pregame speeches? Was Coach Bowden big on those when you played for him?
He was not, and to me, I've always said that if you have to give a speech 5 minutes before you play the game to get your team excited to play, you've done a poor job Sunday through Friday. And by then they're ready to go. Coach Bowden was always some reminders, type things, and that's what I do. It's more reminders than. Like I said, if you got to lay a brim and fire speech out there, you've done a bad job Sunday through Friday.
Coach Rick Stockstill is with us, MTSU head football coach, and again, they'll take on Alabama in Tuscaloosa this Saturday. Coverage beginning at 5:30 on 93.3 Classic Hits. And back to your story that you told earlier about learning experiences. Do you reference when you're talking to your team, or allow them to think about last year in Miami and that win, in situations like this, or do you try and preach that last year was last year, let's make new memories this year?
Yeah, they know it. I mean, they know they hear it enough. You beat Miami last year, you can do it this year. Every team is different. In college football and probably even the NFL, your team changes weekly. The team that we go down to Alabama with will not be the same team we go to Missouri with. It changes, every week. And that's why that's the beauty of college football, that, every week is a new challenge. And it's a new challenge of who you play, but it's also a new challenge of getting that team ready. And, so it doesn't do any good to say, talk about last year's team.
Right.
The thing when I talk about last year's team and how it relates to this year's team, I've always just said that this year's team has got a lot of confidence because of what they've accomplished last year, and how they, the middle part of the year, when they beat Miami, the little bit middle part of the year when we lost 3 straight, how we didn't panic, the adversity that we overcame to win the last 4 games in the bowl game. So, you talk more in terms like that than, hey, you did this last year, you can do it again this year. You beat this team last year, you can do it this year. That doesn't jive with me. It doesn't. There's no relevancy, with those teams, because Alabama's not Miami, Miami's not us, so, and they definitely weren't us last year. I try to focus more on what we can control. I know that's cliche, but I try to stay in the moment and just be honest with these guys in everything I communicate with them.
Coach, you elected, or the team elected, the captains earlier this week. The process of doing that, you just let the guys do it and vote it and then go from there, and no input from the coaching staff at all?
No, it's strictly player vote. And what I've done, though, is I haven't picked 4 or vote for 4, and then I'll bring in a couple underclassmen, one from, or a couple from offense, a couple from defense, and they take the ballots out of the box and they count it, so it's, I didn't rig it. I didn't do it. I didn't want to get in trouble by saying votes rigged. So they count it. And then the last couple years, there's always been like the fifth place guy has been one vote or two votes from the fourth place guy.
Wow.
And so I talk to those four guys that I bring up to count, and I'll say, what do you think about this? It's so close. You guys think it's, that he deserves, I think we should have 5 captains. And they agree. That's what happened this year is why we had 5. And the times that we've had 4, the vote discrepancy between number 4 and number 5, has been pretty wide. So I haven't picked 4, so it's not so watered down. And then if 5's close, we'll add a 5th one.
Well done.
I like it for sure. Coach, thanks so much for doing this. We look forward to these weekly chats with you, and best of luck this weekend at Alabama.
Sounds good. Appreciate you, Chase, Joe. Have a great week.
You too. Sir. Rick Stockstill joining us, Middle Tennessee State University's head football coach, and has been there a very long time. We actually got to Middle the same year. And I went on the scenic tour. So.
Is that a trivia question?
Yeah. I was going to set you up for that because we have a pair of tickets to see, you'd like this, Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper at Bridgestone Arena.
Oh, when is that?
September 12th.
Love that.
So you're going to ask, coming up next, you're going to ask, or actually do it now.
Okay.
You ask the trivia question.
All right, so Rick Stockstill's been at MTSU. This is 18th season at MTSU. And there are 3 other college coaches who are ahead of Rick Stockstill, longest tenured coaches at their school. We need all 3. We're going to make this hard on you. We need all 3 college football coaches, talking Power 5, Group of 5, Division I basically, who have been at their schools longer than Rick Stockstill. He's entering his 18th season at MTSU. We need the 3 coaches ahead of him who've been at their school the longest. There's 3 of them. We need the answer.
There would have been 4, right?
Would have been 4, but Pat Fitzgerald was shown the door.
Right. So there are 3. 615-737-1025. If you can be the first to give all 3 to Nick Frazier, you'll win a pair of tickets to see Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper at Bridgestone Arena on September 12th. We'll put a bow on things coming up next. Willie D going to join us, a Sports Revolution reunion coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.
It's a long summer. But don't worry. Hockey will be back soon. You'll hear every slap shot, save, hit, and of course,
knocked down in front, rebound, and the score!
On your home for Smashville. 102.5 and 106.3, The Game, and the Game Nashville app. Is it October yet?
Hey, it's Jared. Want to tell you about Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Hiller is keeping you chilling all summer with special deals to keep you relaxed and happy this summer. Tackle those necessary home system replacements this month to take advantage of these special deals. When you purchase a select new HVAC system, you'll get 2 Yeti Trailhead camping chairs, a Yeti Panga 28L waterproof backpack, a Yeti Tundra 75, and 2 Yeti tumblers for free. And get special freebies on Yeti products with every new whole home generator or tankless water heater purchase. That's Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Calling all Nashville Sounds baseball fans. You know that 312 Pizza Company in Germantown is the best place to be before or after a Sounds game, but this season, it gets even better. Stop by 312 Pizza Company before or after any Nashville Sounds home game with your day of ticket and get a free old-style beer. That's right, you get a free old-style beer from 312 Pizza just for watching Sounds baseball, only redeemable with purchase. See you at 312 Pizza Company all baseball season long. 312 Pizza Company, a proud sponsor of your Nashville Sounds.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. the needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hello, whoever it is going to be.
You want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about on today's show? Hit us up on our phone and text line at 615-737-1025, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Chase McCabe on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Chase McCabe, Big Joe Dubin hanging out on this Wednesday.
What in the world was that?
102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Is that 2-bit?
No, it's just, I mean, I guess it's a part of it, but it's a wrestling thing.
Oh, okay.
MJF.
He's better than you. Yeah.
Did we see him at...
You saw him a few weeks ago at AEW.
Okay.
He's the guy that had the scarf and like cut a really
His buddy was going to turn against him, but then he turned out the last second.
They had a match for the world title in Wembley, and MJF won. They hugged it out at the end.
With his buddy?
Yeah.
I don't trust his friend because that guy, he was going to attack him, and then MJF turned
Well, the
around.
next week, MJF was going to do the same thing. And so it was kind of the build-up for it.
Are you writing these storylines right?
I know I should, though.
You do this?
I would love to. I need to call Jeff Jarrett and say, hey, I'll come write.
Right.
Come write for you.
Before we get to celebrity birthdays, I always like doing this segment with you,
I know.
so get used to it. This is what day, a holiday, what day of the week is, a big day. Today's Frankenstein Day.
Is it?
Yep. It's also international.
I'm Frankenstein every morning.
It's also International Day of the Disappeared, International Whale Shark Day, National Beach Day. What's your favorite beach?
Favorite beach. Growing up, it was Panama City, but probably Fort Myers. Fort Myers Beach.
Nice.
I love Fort Myers Beach, and they're rebuilding, but love Fort Myers.
I love the Rayon City Beach right next to the Old Hickory Dam. I mean, it's just, you go out
Again,
there.
that's you and Mike Oregon.
Get lost in your feelings out there. National Toasted Marshmallow Day.
So nobody called in about our trivia question? Did he make it?
Nobody knew?
Did
Not
he make
even
it too
a
hard?
ring. Not even a ring.
Oh, man.
I mean, should we
At least give one, maybe?
one of the three?
All right, call in and give us one.
One of the
Nick, you could have lied until the phones are ringing nonstop and nobody got him.
My phone was ringing.
It's Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper at Bridgestone Arena, September 12th, 615-737-1025. Rick Stockstill is the fourth most tenured coach in college
Correct.
football. There are three ahead of him. Would have been four, but Pat Fitzgerald is out.
Yep.
You just have to give one to Nick.
We have to dumb
just
it
give
down
one.
a little bit. Yeah, okay.
And think about they're all Power 5. Like this should be easy.
Correct. Yeah, they should. One that I got two quickly, and one I was stumped on.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there's a pretty obvious one.
Yeah, yeah. I was stumped on one because I'm 40. I mean, I'm a man.
Right. There you go.
Okay. All right.
615-737-1025. All right, so we're going to do celebrity birthdays. This is a kind of a staple.
Yeah.
Now the phones ring. Now that we made it easy.
We got to educate our listening audience.
I think we have a winner, though.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
So the
Celebrity
answer.
birthdays.
We'll
Oh, the
give
answer. Okay, the answer was first is Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
Yep.
Who's been there forever.
Yep.
Second was Kyle Winningham, who took over for Urban Meyer when Urban Meyer left Utah to go to Florida.
Yep.
So he's been at Utah since 2005. The Mike Gundy is the other one who's been at Oklahoma State since 2005 and had that famous blow up of "Come after me, I'm a man, I'm 40."
A lot of people probably thought Nick Saban, but Saban was a year after.
Correct.
Rick Stockstill.
So it'll be his 17th season coming up at Alabama.
Yep.
So that's what happens there. All right. So I know Nick's busy taking the phone call. We got a winner back there.
I know. I thought Willie was going to jump in here and talk a little
Congratulations.
baseball, do some celebrity birthdays, but that's okay.
That's okay. All right. Our first birthday now. This is a fun game we like to play. We usually close out the show with this all the time. You got to get these birthdays within 2 years. Celebrity birthdays.
Yep.
So if you're driving your car and you're arguing with your buddies and everything, so within 2 years. So our first birthday is comedian Lewis Black. He's the one that loses his mind, goes crazy. Very funny guy.
I'm going to say 62.
Lewis Black, since Nick's not playing, Lewis Black is 75 today.
Is he really?
Yep. Michael Chiklis, who was in the TV show The Shield, also played The Thing in the Fantastic Four. How old is he?
58.
Oh, he's 60. We got to win the two,
Okay.
Chaser.
All
Well
right.
done, buddy. Nicely done there. Next up, Cameron Diaz, the actress. How old is Cameron Diaz? Who we haven't seen her in quite a while.
No, she's Oh, there we go.
He's back.
I was doing some phone call duties.
No, you're
Well, who
good.
won? Who won? Who got?
Mr. Daly, Joe.
Joe Daly.
Joe. Okay, another Joe.
Yep.
Just a couple.
Another
Joes.
JD.
A JD.
Yeah, there
Guy's
you go.
brilliant. That's a given. All right, so Nick, how old's Cameron Diaz?
I'm going with 52.
Yeah, I'd say him too.
52.
52. Chase?
Ooh, that's good. 53.
Ooh, 51. No.
I should have gone the other way.
Good job.
I'm on a redemption tour.
Good job.
Price is right.
Nick. Well done with that. Let's see here. It's going down the list. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but if she's popular, BB Rexa?
Yeah, the singer.
Yeah. That sounds like something. It's like Joe Rexroad's name when he goes out dancing. BB Rexa.
That's his Saturday night name.
Yes.
27.
I'm going to go 29.
34.
Ooh. Okay.
Is it Bebe or BB?
I think it's BB.
Yeah,
I
BB,
don't
baby.
Is it? I like Bebe.
Bebe.
Get in my belly. All right, let's go down here. From the Dukes of Hazzard, Ben Jones. He played
not the former Titan.
not
center?
the former Titan. He's played Cooter on Dukes of Hazzard. Is that who he was? Ben Jones. I think he was.
I mean, I like that.
yeah. How old's Ben Jones there, Nikki?
63.
78.
82. Chase, you were close there, buddy.
That's close.
Not bad. Let's see, go down here. A lot of these people, you're like, who is this person? And it's happening now with me because I think there was a band called Tantric.
Yeah.
Drummer Matt Tall of Tantric.
I know like one song they did, so I'm going to say like 42. I have no idea.
48.
I forgot where he went. Hold on.
Great stuff.
How'd you say, Chase?
42.
It's 45.
Dang it, I'm all
1
right.
year off.
We're
Yeah.
both 3 years off.
I've never even heard of that band, Tantric.
I know one song and it was on a video game.
Oh.
So,
Hey, you got paid.
Yeah.
Billionaire Warren Buffett. How old is Warren Buffett?
83.
Okay.
87.
93 years old.
Jeez.
That's how old Warren Buffett is today. Not a big day for. Oh, one more. We'll finish it out. Andy Roddick, tennis star. How old's he? Nick's got a 1-0 lead, so Chase, you got to do this.
55.
Andy Roddick.
Yeah.
Okay.
64.
What? He's 41.
Oh, I thought he'd been retired for a while.
Isn't he married to Brooklyn? He's married to a model.
No, I thought that was
Pete Sampras?
no. Dang it, the other one, the same era.
Same, not Sampras, not
Andre Agassi.
no, he's a little older than that.
I know, but I thought he was married to
Brooke Shields.
Brooke Shields. Yeah.
Now he's married to Steffi Graf.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, at least they were. I haven't talked to him in a few years, so I don't know what happened. But
You and Andre Agassi were close, right?
We're very tight.
Yeah.
Both
that's
grew up in Las Vegas.
Now,
together.
is this the tennis player or the guy that works at the Shell station in Lebanon?
This guy works at Trader Joe's in Green
Okay.
Hills.
Okay.
He's a good
Gotcha.
guy. Says if he calls again.
that is my favorite bit that you do.
People fall for it all the time.
You have that. You have the unathletic with Rick
Yeah.
Merritt, and then Ricky and I doing games.
I love that. I love it. And the one with I got off the phone with whoever it was, and people were like, did you really talk to him? I'm like, no, read the whole thing.
Like, but how do you come up with this stuff?
A, I have no friends. B, I have no life.
I'm your friend.
C, I have anxiety, and so you try to look at stuff to do that and write.
Okay.
I write all the time.
Brooklyn Decker. That's
Brooklyn Decker. Who's
Yeah.
she married to?
Ricky. Who's she married to?
Andy Roddick.
Is it Andy Roddick?
Brooklyn Decker married to Andy Roddick. Am I right on this? Then I'm going to now see Alice Cooper.
Yeah, you're right.
Ah, Juju. Okay.
Well done.
All right, man. Well, I'll see you in a few days, Chaser.
Are you going to come back?
Might as well. Friday, before I head out of town.
You just like hanging around here, don't
I do. I like the people. I like the vibe. I'm a big Matt Saggio fan. I think Matt's here.
You're the first. No, I'm just kidding. We love Matt.
Big fan of Matt Saggio. So whenever I could see Matt and give him a big old hug, because, brothers got a hug, and then so I'll see Matt. But anyway, good to see you, brother.
Hey, good to see you. We will talk to you on Friday when you come in here and hang out.
Yeah.
We might have to keep you around. I don't know. You keep showing up. You're like a lost puppy that, just put the milk on the porch.
Like porch cat, man. Come back, feed me every week.
Doesn't go away. But coming up next, Caroline, Willie, and D. Mace, they'll give their thoughts on the Titans' 53-man roster and what's next for the two-tone blue. That's all ahead. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.